break again here. Big chance. And Butland's allowed it to squeeze in. And Pablo Hernandez makes it 2-0 in stoppage time.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us here on Matchday Live, where you can watch tonight's game against Stoke with us around the world, including the UK and Ireland here on LUTV. And joining us for this game, we have our very own, the wonderful Michael Bridges.
Oh, thank you for that.
Bridgie, it's been a while. Are you looking forward to this one?
I certainly am. Really looking forward to it. We need to bounce back from the draw against Huddersfield. A big night ahead.
We certainly do. I mean, we took a point in that game against Huddersfield, didn't we? But we both know we'd have liked more. And I think everyone watching...
Yeah, we certainly would have liked more. We were expecting more as well, especially the performance here against Huddersfield. If you think the first half was probably one of the best performances of the season, that first half, and then we controlled the game. Went to Huddersfield, and I think that we just slowed the game down a little bit too much and weren't as direct with our passing as forward thinking. It almost played into Huddersfield's hands, where they were wanting to slow the game down as much as they could. And if you remember that first half, there was so many injuries from both teams, like little niggles, stoppage in play, and it just felt so stop-start. And like I say, that is so advantageous to the teams that are in the bottom of this division. That's why tonight, time to get back on the front foot.
It absolutely is. And look, we'll reflect a little more on that Huddersfield performance later, Bridgie. But just very quickly, what do you think they did that seemed to restrict us so well?
The defender, they looked so much more well organised. When they came here, they played a very expansive game, and we really got on the front foot and punished them early doors, especially in behind with the counter-attack and play that we had. We went at them with pace. They seemed very much more organised defensively. So they doubled up on Somerville. Obviously he's making a name for himself. So what I mean by that, every time you looked to go down the line, they had a way to show him inside. And what they were doing, they were showing him inside toward their midfield numbers. So it was basically getting double teamed, as we say, and we just ran out of ideas in the final third, and especially when they went down to 10 men. So I think that was probably the most disappointing thing, knowing you're playing against 10 men and you still didn't come away with the 3 points. But we found a way, and a man that is getting a start tonight in this game made another impact from the bench, and that was Roberts with the assist for Bamford. So
yes,
looking forward to it.
He absolutely is starting tonight. We'll talk about team news very shortly. We can just see the players arriving here. But let's talk about the fact that there's only 11 games to go, Bridgie, because it's something we have
all we have left?
That's all we've got.
Ooh.
And we've kind of skirted around that, haven't we, in recent weeks. But actually, now we're at a stage in the season where, particularly when you look at the top of the table, every game is crucial.
It certainly is. I mean, I normally would say that after the Christmas period, and we've come back and been on this incredible run. Daniel Farke has given us a new lease of life in the 2024. It's been sensational. Teams have feared us. You know, we've seen off Ipswich again, seen off Leicester, and it's the teams that have been in and around the bottom. Rotherham, we struggled. Huddersfield. So again, this is a massive opportunity to try and capitalise on the team that are in a relegation battle, because they'll come here. Like you say, the games are coming thick and fast, Emma, and there's not many left.
It's nerve-wracking, isn't it?
And it's nerve-wracking because there's 4 teams still involved in that two places. Ipswich and Southampton, I wish they would just go away, but they're just there.
Yeah, no.
It's relentless.
They keep coming back and
certainly
keep coming
do.
back.
So that's why we've got to answer the questions that were put down to us against Huddersfield, get back into this winning mentality as quick as we can tonight.
Look, Bridgie, we talk about it, and I guess, you know, the pressure isn't on us, but if you're a player or if you're Daniel Farke and it's kind of, you're the ones going out there and facing the music, is it just a case of having that mentality game in, game out of, we focus on just the 90 minutes ahead of us?
I think that's what I used to do anyway. If you look too far ahead, Emma, you can get carried away. It can really distract you and derail you. So it's every game, and you can't underestimate any team in this division of the Championship, because, like I say, there's teams we have come up against where I'm thinking it's going to be an easy 3 points, and that was, that sounds very, very arrogant. That's the way it should be, but it's not. So Rotherham again, we stuttered. I've said about Huddersfield again. Stoke shouldn't be in the situation that they are in this division. Going through managers, spending money on players. They're a big team, and that's why they are fighting for their lives as well. We can't allow this to be their cup final tonight. We've got to be switched on. The game plan Daniel Farke's game plan is tremendous. I like the way we're not worrying about other teams. We're going out and just performing and letting the teams worry about us, because we've got players that can change games from the bench.
Yeah, we have. You're right what you say though about this Stoke side, because they are dwindling down there in the relegation zone, but they come to Elland Road tonight off the back of a 2-0 win against Middlesbrough. And there is an element of danger with sides like that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And I mean, Middlesbrough's a team that have beat Leicester twice this season. They were having a good run, and then you see them slipping up against Stoke. So they're like a yo-yo results. What I will say about Stoke, they are sitting in 22nd position, in the relegation battle. They've got 38 points. If they win tonight, them 3 points can take them up to 16. So the incentive for them is absolutely huge. So we talk about the top 4 being very tight.
Yeah.
The bottom 4, the bottom relegation zone and above up to them positions, it is so tight there as well. That's why where you're saying every game is invaluable, not just for us, for every team in this division, because there's still so much to play for. 33 points up for grabs. Now, any other season in the Championship, us and Leicester would have just ran away with it. I know, right? It's not to be. If Leeds want to make it hard, it always seems to be that we find a way to make it hard.
That's very much the Leeds United way, isn't it? I mean, for the neutral, watching the Championship and looking at that, it's great at both ends of the table, but like for us...
but just think, if it hadn't been that run since 2024, it could have been so much different. We have been absolutely unstoppable, and it's the levels the players have set that they've got to try and maintain it for them remaining games.
Absolutely. Look, you mentioned Connor Roberts. Let's touch on team news, shall we, Bridgie? Because Sam Byram comes in for Junior Firpo. Like you say, Connor Roberts comes in for Archie Gray, who's on the bench, and Dan James as well comes in for Willie Nonto. Archie Gray, he's just being rested, isn't he? He's a young lad. He's played a lot of games.
I saw your face. You were devastated when he wasn't involved, and you were worried. You were thinking, oh, what's happened? Don't read too much into it. He's getting rested. He played against the two most expensive midfielders in the Premiership in Chelsea, and he came away with the Man of the Match award. He's a class act, and he was playing his favourite position. So he's being rested, he's being guided, but what I will say, he's filled in that right back position tremendously well. But a player that has got far more experience in that position is a Premier League player, an international player for Wales, is Roberts, Connor Roberts. And the 2 times he's come on, Emma, he scored a goal and he set one up. So he's got his opportunity tonight to start the game, and I like the balance that he's going to give us on that right hand side. And now Archie's question is, when am I going to now be able to compete once again and take that position off Gruev or Kamara, who are the 2 defensive midfielders? But it's healthy competition, and you can't play every game.
No, we always talk about healthy competition. Like you say, it's absolutely a good thing. Look, Bridgie, the atmosphere is building beautifully here at Elland Road, isn't it? So let's head down to the tunnel for the first time tonight, shall we? And catch up with our commentary team of Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo.
Well, we're all set for another important game for Leeds United, back at Elland Road after a couple on the road. And first things first, team news. Maybe not a complete surprise that Daniel Farke has opted to make a few changes. Are you surprised, Tony?
I thought there might be 2 or 3, just depending on where. I think Daniel's gone for certainly experience, so Byram and Roberts have come in, and Dan James. So this stage of the season, it is all about working your way through these last games, knowing your opponents and what they're going to try and do against you, and using that experience of previous seasons and matches, to make us play better. And I think those players will do that.
Is there an expectation that this will look a little like Saturday looked?
Absolutely. We better get used to it, Bryn, because what's going to happen is people will look at that performance by Huddersfield, getting in our faces, trying to stop us playing some dodgy challenges, I have to say, right, that could be the way of getting something out of the game. And Stoke, they're not going to make it expansive. They're not going to push up on the halfway line. They're going to try and do exactly the same thing. So it'll be physical. It will be stop-start. and they'll be playing for those percentages and free kicks and corners and all that sort of stuff.
And whilst Leeds have been fantastic against the teams in the top positions in the table by and large, it's the ones down the bottom that have proved the biggest struggle, haven't they, so far?
They have, but not in the last 10 games, because we've absolutely smashed a few of them, so let's not forget that as well. 28 points out of 30 is really impressive, but I know what you mean in that the likes of the Leicester game took care of itself, Chelsea takes care of itself, Huddersfield was tough, and this is going to be another one, a team that are fighting for their lives.
Pressure's on every match now, isn't it?
It is. It's just the way that it is, but it's exciting, and that's what they should be relishing. I think the manager does. He knows all about this. He's been there and seen it. The players, I think, must be relishing being up there and in the mix of getting promotion at the start of the season. That had to be the goal. They want to play Premier League. This is what it's all about. To get there, you've got to go through these moments.
Tony Dorigo looking very smart for a home game. He's ready for this one, isn't he?
He's doing the hospitality lounges. Look at his finest.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look, just a reminder that you can watch tonight's game around the world, including the UK and Ireland, with us here on LUTV. All you need to do is head over to the LUTV app or the Leeds United website, where you can buy your match pass. And tonight is the official Her Game 2 game here at Leeds United, ahead of International Women's Day this Friday. So all of the players are going to be wearing Her Game 2 shirts, just to represent it, and it's wonderful, isn't it, that, Bridgie? Really, really like that. Look, Tony was talking about the fact that, he did think there'd be a few changes. We know that, particularly at this stage in the season, Daniel Farke has to look at what is a plethora of options, and he is going to change this squad. He's going to mix it up, isn't he, from time to time?
By the way.
I know.
I'll have to look that one up.
Even I'm proud of that.
Yeah, that's what it's right. Squad rotation, I think you look at it in a positive way, because there's not many managers have that luxury. And if you go back to when the transfer window closed, prior to that, we were, in a pretty vulnerable situation. And since the window shut, Daniel Farke got the players in and out that he wanted, and players are coming back and getting fit again. And Patrick Bamford, a man that missed out early in the season, gets his opportunity, and I'm delighted because he scores goals, and that's what I like about him. And he's got a point to prove as well. As long as he can stay injury free, that man will score goals.
He will, and then he'll relish it. We love to see Patrick Bamford high on confidence. Look, let's have a little look back and talk about the weekend, shall we, Bridgie? Not our best. It was quite a frustrating performance, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. Like you say, the opportunities that were created were nowhere near the levels that we have created in moments throughout the season in the games. The disappointing, the set play goal conceded, which is never nice, and I think it was the timing of the goal just before half time, because the free kick that we actually gave away in that wide area, it was a needless free kick because the player was going nowhere. So you leave yourself very vulnerable just before half time. You've got to handle it, and you've got to deal with it. And obviously the aerial presence inside the area was not good enough. We didn't get anybody in making a challenge, and you go in 1-0 down at half time, and it was always going to be tough from there. The saving grace was actually the 2 yellow cards when Hogs got sent off, and you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But there was so much injury time in this game first half, because I said to you prior, it was a horrible game first half, stop start. And it was horrible for us, but it was great for Huddersfield, because that's exactly what they wanted, to slow the play down, take the sting out of us, because we are so normally on the front foot.
Yeah, it absolutely played into their hands. Do you think, Bridgie, there was an element of fatigue in this game, or was this inevitable? Look, we were going for a record, weren't we?
Yeah, we're going for a record. I'm not taking the fatigue one. I'm not buying that, because when you're on that winning run that we were on, you are so confident every game that you don't feel tiredness. You feel tiredness when you're on a run where you've lost 5 or 6 in a row, because you go into them games feeling underdone. We were going to this game full of confidence
and momentum.
Yeah, absolute loads of momentum. And the man that I mentioned there getting the assist, Roberts, came on and changed the game. I would have loved to have seen us use them more, because I'm loving the combination between Dan James and Roberts. They're both Welsh internationals. They've got a drive, and they've got something about them where they can offer so much. His crossing is brilliant, his assists, and he can feed Dan James. And when Dan James cuts inside, he can overlap, or when Dan goes on the outside, Connor can play lovely on the ball.
It did feel, though, Bridgie, in that game, look, we won't dwell on it too much longer, I promise. It was disjointed, and it felt as though Huddersfield managed to disrupt our rhythm.
Totally.
Do you think other sides might have looked at that and thought, actually, we could do that, trying to work out how they could do that too?
Yeah, and like Tony alluded to in the tunnel there with Bryn, It hasn't happened in the second half of the season because we have been going and winning games and annihilating teams. Not only the teams that are fighting for promotion, but also the relegation and mid-tables. We've made it look so easy. Teams know what they get when they play Leeds United. Teams are always going to try and stop you in somehow possible. One of the best teams in the world, Man City, Pep Guardiola. Every team they play sits back with 11 behind the ball and says, can you do it? They're the questions that we have got to answer as players and as staff when you know what's going to happen. Yes, we play better against teams that are expansive, like Leicester, like Ipswich, that want to go and score goals because there's more space. Our issue has got to be, how do you react when teams are going to come and defend deep? And there's a lot of coaching goes into it, Emma, but there's also a lot of things where there's players out there, and Somerville has been the man mainly this season that has found a way to say, you know what it is, I'm going to do this single-handedly. And
very well at that.
And very well.
But look, on the coaching, on the managerial side of it, Daniel Farker, he'll have been spending the last few days, won't he, evaluating, analysing and working on things ahead of this game. What key things do you think he will have worked on with
it's patterns of play. It'll be playing out from the back. You always set yourself up where you're going to play out from the back, and we know that Meliel set the tone and we play out from the back. Sometimes when the press is coming too high, you'll learn how to play out and beat the press, and you take a few players out. And then the other end of the field, the final third, Daniel Farker always mentions it. He got upset when I said, do you give the players a freedom? He said, I don't give the players a freedom. He said, there's a lot of coaching goes behind this, and then the players have got to come up with their own ideas. So working in the final third to break down, like I've said, them defensive units that Stoke will come and bring here and get numbers behind the ball.
Look, Bridgie, I think it's also worth adding that we're reflecting on this as kind of almost a negative performance, but we're forgetting that we still took a point from it. You know, it's because standards are so high, aren't they, that if we don't get the 3 points, it feels like a loss. But it is all about the reaction tonight.
It's 28 points from a possible 30, I think Tony said.
Unbelievable.
If you had said that at the start of the turn of the year, the manager Daniel Farker would have said, snap your hand off. Doesn't matter who the 2 points we drop are against. It happened to be Huddersfield in the derby, and we smashed them here. So again, it's not a loss. It's still got the momentum, and we get a chance to put it right tonight against another team in a relegation battle.
Yes, we do. Well, let's get the thoughts of the boss, Daniel Farker, now, shall we?
When you look at the game against Stoke, do you expect to be as physical as what you saw at the weekend? In the terms of like what Huddersfield offered, can you see Stoke doing the same?
Normally, it's always a bit the same especially in the home game. Hopefully, the referee also helps to protect the health of your players a bit more than in a difficult away game, because then he quite often feels also the pressure of 20,000-30,000 in his neck, and he's not that tempted to give early yellow cards or a red card. There was one relentless tackle against Chris Summerville that was really dangerous also for his health. I think you need a bit more protection. I think this is normally in a home game always a bit better. So for that it will be different. Yes, also the style of the teams are slightly different, because I rate Steven Schumacher's sides always like pretty possession based and really good with the ball and good processes. I don't expect also a game where we can dominate possession like we did at Huddersfield with 80%. So I also expect that Stoke will have their spells. So we have to be perhaps even a bit more switched on also in defending and defending the counter-attacks. This will also be important, but nevertheless, yes, it will be physical, because there is a side who fights against relegation, and for that we have to be prepared. But it's more or less nearly in each and every game on a championship level that it's quite often also a pretty physical battle, and you always have to be ready for it.
With Steven Schumacher there, do you see the parallels with Plymouth from before? And are they a very different outfit, Stoke, now to the one that you played away earlier in the season?
Yes, I think you can see his ideas in this handwriting also when you analyze their games. So they always have a good structure. They play clear processes, and you can always see the ideas of him in his team playing. And this is what I like a lot about coaches, when you see their handwriting. Obviously, once you knew it, lasts also a little bit till everything is then perfect in details, and we also have the pressure to deliver more or less, in this league at least, all 3 days to win the points, and then perhaps you have to adapt a bit to the situation as well. And once you're perhaps not in the best position on the table, you also have to play a bit more pragmatical. This is what they are also doing. This is how they have grind out a result, big result for them in the last game. So For that, I expect perhaps not to see 100% Steven Schumacher's idea on the pitch, but definitely in bits and pieces. And Stoke is always a pretty physical side, and always also traditionally also pretty strong and aggressive side. And normally it's a good blend. Hopefully not tomorrow. So hopefully we are capable to dominate this game and to be there with a perfect result. But we are respectful.
Well, while Daniel Farker was talking, we actually caught Jermaine Beckford roaming the corridors at Elland Road. So we said, do you know what, Jermaine, if you can't keep away, come and join us.
And I can't keep away?
Thank
here I am.
you so much for joining us, Jermaine
Imagine what we
Beckford.
would have been like as a strike force if we were both fit.
Well, actually,
What did I say before the
Michael
show?
Bridges,
Did you? Yeah.
because he actually turned up before we went on air, he said to me,
Ouch.
he would have loved to have played alongside you. Is the feeling mutual?
100%. Absolute
There you
baller,
go.
by the way.
That's what I said,
Well-
that's what I said, man.
Do you know what? We'll let
Mutual
Daniel Farker
respect.
know. And you
Oh,
might
no. Vets. We could do the veteran
Do the
league.
vets.
Yes.
We'll do that.
Well,
there we go.
I'm happy with
I've
that.
had my dessert tonight, no.
You're supposed to have that after dinner.
Bex, genuinely,
Yes.
thank
Sorry,
you so much
sorry.
for joining us. It's all right. We heard Daniel Farker say there, look, he's expecting this Stoke side to be aggressive and strong. We know they will be.
Yep.
What does our approach have to be?
We have to do the things that we didn't do against Huddersfield well. So we need to move the ball nice and quickly. We need to make sure that we're not giving the opposition an opportunity to get anywhere near us. Because, look, whenever we've played the type of football we do and move the ball sharply, find the little spaces in between the lines, no team can deal with us. They can't handle us. That's what we need to get back to. I think we were a little bit leggy.
Stop start as well, you know, the injuries they had as well during
Yeah.
the game, it was just played into their hands.
That played into their hands.
Yeah.
Their game plan worked absolutely fantastically well. But I think one of the things that we looked was a little bit leggy, I think, in the last game, the Huddersfield game. I'm pretty sure with the 3 changes today, we're going to see a far more sharp, far more lively team ready to go at them.
Do you think Stoke will take their cue from Huddersfield at all tonight?
Yes, 100%. Bridge and I were just talking, and he mentioned the disciplinary record, didn't you?
Yeah, 85 yellow cards they've had this season. They've got a shocking 2.5 yellow
Naughty.
cards a game.
That's incredible.
So you know what they're going to come here and do? They're going to stick a foot in and have a go. I mean, that's a shocking record.
Yeah.
And something you don't want, but
At the same time,
yeah, probably shows why they're in that position, because
Yeah.
they've had so many suspensions.
And look, from our point of view, you and I were chatting earlier, Bridgie, about the fact that when you were in the studio with us ahead of that Huddersfield game, Bex, we were talking about the fact that we were going for a record.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to not let that kind of game kill your momentum? I mean, I don't think they will, but
Yeah.
is it easy to just crack on and go again?
yeah, because momentum's not been broken, really. You know, it's another game unbeaten. Granted, it's not the result we would have wanted. We wanted the victory, but we're still flying in terms of the league. I overheard Bridgie talking then. The points, we picked up 28 out of the last 30. That's outrageous in itself. So if we're able to kick on from that again, magic.
We always talk about starting well, Bridgie, and getting an early goal. But just how important is that going to be in a game like this?
Well, it is. It's at Elland Road. Now, I was saying the last time I was here was the night we beat Leicester. When we played I Predict a Riot after the game, they were singing for like 10 minutes
Carnage.
after. It was
Oh, my
absolutely
word.
magic. But you know what, you get out here under the floodlights at Elland Road. I love it. The fans will be up for it again, and I think the players relish it. I mean, I used to love it. I don't know about you.
Yep.
I know Saturday afternoons are good. They're nothing better than a floodlight.
Midweek evenings.
Midweek, so
Oh, my
they'll be up for it. And what happens then? The players react off the fans, but the fans have got to react off the players. And it's that first 5 or 10 minute window at Elland Road. Daniel Ford will be saying, "Listen, go and make life tough. Go and get on the front foot." Create as many chances of final third as we can.
Well, to be honest, you can hear them already. They're pretty much in full voice out there already as it is.
Building up nicely,
in
isn't it?
terms of key battles, though, I want to ask you both this. Where do you see those key battles being tonight between Leeds and Stoke, Bex?
I actually think it's going to be in transition. So when they're in possession and we win the ball back, it's going to be those moments where it's won and lost. Depending on how Stoke how they set up, whether they're going to be defensively solid as a unit, similar to what Huddersfield did.
Yeah.
They got lots of players behind the ball and kept it nice and tight. I think that's what their game plan.
So what
will
you'll
be
say
today.
when they're attacking,
Yeah.
and they leave themselves open.
Exactly.
We win the ball back, maybe deep in our own defensive half. We've got Dan James, we've got Somerville. They're going to go at pace, and I think that is a massive area. So that's when they're at their most vulnerable, when Stoke are actually attacking. It sounds crazy, but
we know as well, though, don't we, that when you look at this Leeds United squad, we're like a cup final for a lot of the teams in this league. We know that know that there are going to be target men in this side. We know that they are going to look at the likes of Crescencio Somerville and they will go for them, won't they?
Well, we've seen that in the last couple of games, haven't we? And as long as we get the ball, move it nice and quickly, and be cute with the timing of when we're passing the ball as well. Because look, if we could get one of their players, especially the fullbacks, booked nice and early in the game,
oh my God! Because then you know, as an attacking player, what you so love.
Oh, I'm going to target him now.
When they're booked, what are we doing? We're going. I'm getting at you every time because it just takes one little touch. I'm going down. I'm not saying I'm diving, but I'm going down.
But you're going to exaggerate the contact.
And they can't touch you then. And that is a key area again in the full-back positions, because playing against Cree, I would hate it. Huddersfield did it very well. I was seeing they doubled up on him.
Yeah. Which took away their attacking threat. But I was a little bit chirpy as well, so I'll get them booked nice and early, and then I'll be in the ear just chirping away. Oh, it's horrible, mate.
Listen, lads, kick-off is very fast approaching, so it is the moment of truth. I need a score prediction from both of you. I know you hate this, so Bex, you first.
I love this bit. 3-0.
3-0.
I'm going to go one less. I'm going to go 2-0.
3-0 and 2-0.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We'll take either of those, won't we?
Yeah, we'll take 3 points.
It is a huge, huge game here at Elland Road as Leeds United host Stoke City. Before we hand you over to your commentary team this evening of Bryn Law and Tony D'Amigo, let's get the thoughts of Ilya Gruev.
Well, Ilya, not much time to rest after the game at Huddersfield. How's everyone feeling going into this one against Stoke?
We feel very good. We know it's an important game today, and we want to show reaction. We want to come back to winning ways. And yeah, I think you will see this attitude on the pitch.
This has been a good place for you to play, hasn't it, this season, Elland Road? If you can keep that run going, that could be very important between now and the end of the season.
Of course it is. We know we are unbeaten at home. We want to stay unbeaten at home. The fans are amazing. They support us. They help us. And I think this is a key point why we are in the table where we are.
Huddersfield gave you a really tough game at the weekend. Are you expecting the same from Stoke tonight?
Yes, we are expecting the same because they are in quite similar positions. I think they also want to go. They want to slow our game a little bit down, but we have to keep pushing and we have to play aggressive and to show that we want to win this.
The teams emerge, and as they do, we say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're following this game from around the world. UK, Ireland, worldwide white